I was in that photo. See your AI. I have to start there.
Yes.
I received a call from young people who believe that it's time for us to shape the narrative for this country. And so I met Morara Kebasa and I met Kasmuel. And we had a conversation around at what point shall we in our generation start taking leadership from this country? And when shall we start shaping the narrative? Because the bulk of those who are saying they are going to change Kenya are in their 70s. What future do they have for this country? There was a lot of bashing from Kenyans. But the reason they were bashing me is because they said they have a problem with the character of some of the people I met. But I want to engage Kenyans on one individual. I have never discussed personalities, but today I'll discuss Kasmuel. And I'll tell Kenyans, when the Gen Z protests were happening, Kasmuel became a dead boy walking. That is one thing that people have never appreciated. At one point, the police literally targeted only Kasmuel. And he was going to be arrested and he would never have been seen again. You remember him running across Nation Center. And the people he was fighting for started ridiculing him, wakimchekelea wakisema ati nikamuoga kamepotea. They wanted him to be so loyal to them and not be loyal to himself. I think the first level of loyalty we owe to ourselves is to protect our own lives. And that young boy decided to protect his own life. He owed a duty of care to himself before he owed a duty of demonstrating for you Kenyans. And when it got to a place when this boy, it was clear that he had to hide from me, switch off his phone and do all those things. Raila Amolo Odinga, awe na weaknesses zake, took that boy and hid him under his shoulder. It was the only way that boy survived. Alimficha ndani ya ODM. Kasmuel went into ODM to be alive. That boy would not have seen his 27th birthday. I have had conversations, very deep conversations with that boy. And when he went to ODM, all the people from whom he had gone on the streets, taken tear gas, been chased by the police, threatened, had to hide his phone, all of them called him Kasaliti. Now, he was there to save his own life. Now, at the time when he was ready to leave ODM, because he has been ready all along, ODM was telling him, we saved your life when it mattered. So if he leaves ODM, he's going to be told he has betrayed the party that saved him from this killer regime. Kenyans are not grateful to the people who fight for them. That I have come to accept. And I have said sometimes I want to say things that are not popular. I don't want to be popular on this, but I'll tell you for free. Raila Amolo Odinga saved that boy. He would not have seen his 27th birthday. He was only 26. And by the way, if it is one person who would have been a trophy for this administration at that time when they were baying for the blood of Gen Zs, it's that boy Kasmuel Makore. So as you call him Kasaliti, ask yourselves, whose mandate did he have to go on the streets? He was going on the streets to fight for you without your mandate. Nyinyi kuna ma-MP mulichagua, 290 of them, the bulk of whom were passing that finance bill that got us to where we are. You are not treating your MPs with the same kind of bile and hatred that you're treating Kasmuel Makore with. A boy who has got no mandate from you was sacrificing his life and his existence because of you Kenyans. And now, the guys who you gave the mandate were eating. They were being paid 2 million. You were told by the MP for Koimbori, they were being paid 2 million to pass finance bill. You are not castigating those ones. Kasmuel, I got your back. I will stand with that boy. And if people are going to hate me for speaking the truth, I have always spoken the truth. And this is the truth. That this boy moved there to save his life.
It's the same conversation that Raila gave us, explanation that Raila gave us why he went to government. Because you told us, you know, if I could not have gone to the government could have fallen and Kenya would not be where it is right now. The country is bigger than any individual. The same conversations the older politicians is blaming is the same explanation he's trying to give to rationalize what Kasmuel did. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to ODM. There are lots of good people in ODM. So you don't have to try and we have seen people who have fought and put their lives on the line because of this country. times a number. There are people who have even died for this country, and so
We want him to die.
So he won't be the first one or the last one to die for this country.
You are insensitive.
No. I'm telling you the truth. So you trying to explain and saying that, oh, you know, it's because his life was in danger. Kwani Rex Masai didn't die.
Why didn't you offer yourself for death?
I'm not a politician.
He's also not a politician.
This is what I do. This is what I do here each and every morning, and I've done it for the longest time possible. And I don't want to give those excuses that, you know, my life was in danger, so that's why I joined ODM. And there's like I said, there's nothing wrong with joining ODM. There's nothing wrong with working with Raila Odinga. There are lots of good politicians.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
What's wrong is that, you know, you make a decision, you are found out, and then you try and explain to us, rationalize, and you know, try to make it sound like it is not. It is us who look bad for calling you out, and not you for making that bad decision.
What wrong did Kasmuel do according to you?
No, he did everything. It's okay going to ODM, like I said. Him trying to create an excuse that his life was in danger, that's why he went to ODM. That's what I find to be wrong.
Trying to say
even Itumbi is a young person, he's in Kenya Kwanza. He doesn't make excuses for being in Kenya Kwanza. There are people who change. Raila Odinga was ODM, he's now in government. He doesn't make excuses and telling us, you know, the same excuses Raila Odinga makes. The country is bigger than everybody. It's the same excuses Fanyamambo is trying to make for Kasmuel, that, you know, my life was in danger, so I now had to do ABCD. There are lots of youths who participated in GNZ demos that are still. People are still see them, and if you see them, they will say these are stood the course of time. But Kasmuel, right now, if you see Kasmuel, like you say, he's called Kasaliti, because people think, and you know, you cannot you can't fool Kenyans all the time. You can't fool all the people all the time. So you will make a decision, and when Kenyans find you out, bear the consequences.
Yeah. Whether you're going to involve those people or not, young people must have that conversation. So whoever you're going to use, however you're going to go about it, it's a conversation that this country must have. So you can remove the actors, put in new actors, but you must have this conversation. You can remove them, put Babu Owino, put Sifuna, put whoever, but it's a conversation that this country ultimately must have.
My only worry, Jeff, with the young people is that I don't know if they have what it takes to be where they want to be, to take all the 290 constituencies, like Fanyamambo is saying, because you might have the will, yes, but you don't have the means to do it, and that's why at times Kasmuel went to ODM. Maybe it could be better if young people organize themselves on the basis of those parties. However bad we might think they represent the country, but maybe it is better if you're in ODM or if you're in Kenya Kwanza and you argue a case from there and you try to wrestle power from inside. But the way they're trying to organize themselves as it is, it might be very, very difficult to achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah, and it could backfire.
It could backfire.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen, IEBC.
I have never seen such a horrible selection panel, because the Constitution of Kenya is very clear in Article 88(1). It says that the people who will be selected to IEBC must be people who are not public servants, and they must be people who had not vied for an election in the previous election, at least 5 years before their appointment. Now, they go ahead and give us Professor Odhiambo Francis, who is at Tuk University. He's an employee of the government at Technical. In fact, for the longest time, he was the vice chancellor at the Technical University. And now he's an employee there. He's a professor teaching there. So he's a public servant. He's not qualified. They give us the CEO, the Registrar of Political Parties, Angeline Derito. Why do you give us someone who is a public servant, knowing very well that Article 88(1), plain English, if you're a public servant, you're not qualified to be nominated for IEBC? Now they've given us Angeline Derito as if they don't know what she does. Now wanaandika mpaka kwa CV yake na amepresent CV. And you, Angeline Derito, why do you present yourself for that interview, knowing very well that you are a public servant and Article 88(1) of the Constitution has not been deleted? They give an Hassan Nur Hassan. This guy vied for a political seat in 2022. So automatically he's disqualified. Higher, they give us Moses Alutalala, Chairman, Audit and Governance Committee. He's a chairman of a committee, and he also sits in another committee of this country. So he's a public servant. And what do they do? They give him as a name that has been suggested. Now, the Departmental Committee on Justice is supposed to have this matter coming before them on 26th of May. I'll just tell them for free. Throw out these names. There's no two ways about it. The Constitution is very clear.
But
if you're a public servant, you don't qualify.
Oh,
If you fight for a political seat, you don't qualify. So half of this commission is dead on arrival.
The biggest issue with this IEBC nominees is the apparent biasness that comes with it, because you've had opposition leaders speaking against the list. You've had people who their character has been called into question, like the chairperson of the nominated chairperson, Erastus Edung Ethekon. I hope I pronounced it well. He worked for Turkana County government
Correct.
for 10 years. Under
who?
Nanok. And Nanok, we know where Nanok sits right now. He sits at State House.
Correct.
So you'll ask yourself questions. Did Nanok then influence his appointment? And if we influenced his appointment, Nanok influencing his appointment means that President Ruto has influenced the nomination of Erastus. A person like Anne Jerry, he has been seen to be leaning towards the regime of the day. Even as she has been operating as a registrar political parties, she's not come out as somebody who is very independent.
Non-partisan,
Case in point, Jubilee case.
Yes, the case in point is the Jubilee case. A person like Moses Lutulala Muhwana is somebody that we've seen even in previous election. He has been seen leaning towards a certain political side. So will those things then affect how they are going to perform their duties at IEBC? A person like Hassan Nur Hassan, he was one of the 6 names that came in late, and he came in late and akapenya na akapata kuwa commissioner. How then does that affect the confidence of Kenyans in the commission? I think the only new name here that people didn't know much about is Fahima Arafat Abdallah from Lamu. I'm told she's 32. She has, I think, a master's or a PhD. So she's a person who has eaten books well, and we don't know. We just don't know how she is in public. So maybe during vetting we'll get to see and see then if she's going to be up to task. But they still have a long way to get the confidence of Kenyans in the commission.
These processes have legal minds that actually sometimes advise them. How do they blatantly go against that which is stipulated in the Constitution, knowing it's going to cause an issue going forward? Or is it a deliberate move so that we delay the formation of the same body?
A prophecy has come true. I said nobody from the big tribes will ever become IEBC chairperson. And I remember you telling you Akikuyu, Alu, Akalenjin, these highly polarizing tribes will never be IEBC chairman, which is a good thing, because then we can have these small communities also having a share of the big seats in this country. But then again, this is deliberate. The whole idea is to delay the whole IEBC process. I mean, it's not like they don't know, like the register of political parties. And it's simple reading. Attorney General, where are you? Because we have an attorney general in this country. Either arudishe mshahara ama resign. How do you advise the president to appoint somebody who is a sitting employed person, the register of political parties? Hata si ati ni mtu anakaa kwa kabodu fulani. No, this is a very public person. So the whole idea is you have an attorney general who, I don't know how they're interpreting the law. And now this thing will obviously go to court. I'm telling you, if on the 26th parliament passes it, on 27th people will be in court. Probably sasa itakuwa kesi yangu sijui ya 7 ama 8, na niko na zingine huko bado nalipa madeni za mawakili, nimesui Kenya Kwanza, nimechoka, but we will do it if we have to, because we cannot continue like this. So the whole idea, in my view, is to make sure that we do not have IEBC, because I don't see how they can pretend not to know who Anne Derito is and what position she holds, and why her, having known that, would not decline the appointment, and why she presents herself even for that interview, knowing very well that there will be that legal obstacle.
But I want to tell Lafanya Mambo that these nominees are going to be confirmed. the National Assembly is going to rubber stamp what the selection panel did, what the president did, and by the end of this month or early June, these people will be sworn in.
So Article 88(1) means nothing.
I think they will go to courts and do all those things, but
it will be nothing.
It will be.
It'll come to naught.
It will be what under the bridge.
Under the bridge.
Or maybe hot air.
Hot air.
And that sits well with you guys who got from Parliament.
It doesn't sit well, but that's just the reality of our political climate as of now, because there are lots of things that Parliament has been told don't do, and they do. They passed the finance bill despite protests all over. And so it is not that we don't expect that even hard questions are going to come to these people. It's because there's this deal between ODM and Kenya Kwanza. We just expect that the names are going to be processed. They are going to be asked some few questions here and there to punch, just to hoodwink Kenyans. And to go on the floor of the house and will say aye, and the IEBC commission will be formed.
Ricky G has quit UDA.
Na pia kuna issue na hiyo story ya commissioners.
Yes.
Kiangalia kwa hiyo
Yeah, alisema he is not the right list.
Yes. They told him, you are so much behind because tulisha kudelete kwa nini zetu kitambo, and they are calling him names after name. Each and every paragraph was an insult to Rigiji. And I don't know how and why Rigiji icks these people. Every time he speaks, they have to answer.
Yeah.
And that makes Rigiji even bigger. Because at times some of these things you just ignore.
Yeah.
So when you answer Rigiji, it will be magnified. And it makes Rigiji bigger. It makes Rigiji be in the news each and every time. And that's what Rigiji wants. That's what any politician would want. And Kenya Kwanza helping him to do that.
After Rigiji did his resignation, when I went into my Facebook page and some Twitter pages, or X now, I found very many people doing the same. People who were old UDA, now they are resigning from the party. I think mtu wa mwisho tu UDA afunge mlango. Mtu wa mwisho mwenye atakuwa mwisho kutoka afunge mlango, because then the amount of exit that is happening from that party they are hemorrhaging people. Like people are leaving.
Who are these people leaving?
Yeah,
his followers, Rigiji's followers, and also people who regret having voted for this regime. I thank God my name has never been on that green yellow paper. Can you imagine my name fitting on a wheelbarrow? I really thank God it never happened. And I pray anybody who was there and they feel that they have been betrayed by this regime, I think it's a good time to leave, because it sends a message. When they see their numbers are dwindling, it sends a message for them. Ndio hata waache kujipea hopes ati wako na members to going into the election.
As young people, I think we should look for a way of trying to take over from these leaders that have been there forever.
And that's exactly what
what I'm saying is that, to me, I think it will be better because these parties are established. And you are not going to come on with the tribalists and formalists and whatless and voterless and take over. It cannot happen.
No.
You need to strategize. And I think it is better even to be in these parties. Be in UDA. Take over from those people that have been there forever.
Yeah.
You can change policies of UDA from within. Go to ODM, take over.
Like what Raila did to Kanu.
Yes, Raila came to Kanu and they thought kuku imemeza jogo imemeza tinga. Kumbe tinga ikakuwa kubwa.
Those old people that you are seeing forming political parties right now have a model they have learned from. They have learned from ODM. That machine makes money for the party owners at elections. And it doesn't matter who you are. Those party tickets are very expensive in most of these political parties. Most of those political parties. And most of those parties are on sale. Those tickets are on sale. Now, there is a young person who is sitting there and lying to themselves that because they've been very loyal to a particular political party, watapata tickets. Tickets zingine zishauzwa sahi as we speak for some of these parties that Kenyans are running into. And I'm telling young people for free, it will be premium tiers at the ballot. Munafika nomination, kuna kibilionea kilikuja kikanunua ticket. That is not lost to me. Even as I prepare myself to vie for Dagoretti South, I know that some of those popular political parties that are in the formation wherever they are being formed, there are people within Dagoretti South who have a lot of money. and they've probably pumped in money towards the formation of these parties. When that time comes, they'll come and say, hii chama ikitengenezwa nilitoa pesa.
Okay.
So I am telling people, wherever you are, you need to be careful as you talk about telling young people to join these political parties. You are fattening them to go and being slaughtered.
Wala Jeff, huko miwa zetu zina our companies man, they are going.
Tawe.
Zinaenda.
Zishaenda.
30 year lease.
Zishaenda.
Eh?
Imeenda. Hivyo tu. And sometimes I wonder the problem with our leaders. I don't know what's the problem with our leaders because they have been there. They have seen these things happening. They have paka venye deal imesainiwa, they are now handing over. The leaders now start coming out saying this thing is bad, this thing should not have happened, this thing
It's too late.
It is too late. It's gone. It has been signed already. If the government even tries to renegade from that that contract, it's going to have other implications.
Yeah.
And so I don't know because it has. The government says they have gone through those processes. There were public participation. There were whatever, and it. Believe you me, it could be good for the farmers. Maybe I don't know. It could be good because where I come from, I think people got disillusioned with the cane farming. People uprooted cane farming long time ago. We are told Mumias is working, but Mumias, I don't know where they are getting their sugar cane because people around there are no longer interested in sugar cane farming because of the losses that we got at some point in Western. Each and every homestead was doing cane farming, but now there's no cane, and so people are asking, like Nzoia Sugar, for example, they gave Kenya pan paper. They gave to the same investor, I think. And he had promised he's going to pump in money. He's going to make sure that pan paper is working. Up to now, people are asking what happened to pan paper because it's not working.
No.
And so, if pan paper is not working, how sure are we then that Nzoia Sugar is going to work? And they're saying they are given in Western Kenya. They have only given one investor. The whole of that yote investor moja. People asking why?
Well, nani?
Why? And so it has lots and lots of politics. And cane farming is not doing so well in Western Kenya, right? Even in Luo Nyanza, it's not doing so well. So but I don't think if this is the silver bullet that's going to revive cane farming.
And maybe they're still importing sugar and repackaging.
That's what they will do. That's what is happening in Mumias.
Correct.
We are told the factory is working, but it's not working. It's just the machine is dead. But unaona sukari ya Mumias kwa supermarkets, unashangaa where has the sugar come from? It's
Brazil.
Just dealers and dealership.
Goodness, what a waste.
There is an totally insane act called the Sugar Act. That's what you people should be fighting. If you read the Sugar Act section 18, first is a regulation of millers. Nyinyi watu wa Western, let me invite you to a conversation that you must have. Can you imagine kuna mtu Mount Kenya anakamua ng'ombe yake and then he decides what to do with his milk, whether he's going to boil it, whether he's going to give it to his cat or his dog, or he's going
sell it to
package
neighbors,
it or sell it to his neighbors. Then there is you who grows your sugar cane, and then section 18 regulates even that they tell you that the miller shall not buy from you if you're not registered with them. And then there's section 19 that even so the section 18 is regulating the millers, then the other one is regulating the production. Alafu sasa mnapatiwa mpaka zone ati uko na miwa ya Mumias, hawezi peleka sijui Nzoia, hawezi peleka wapi. We need to get to the point where we say, wait a minute, who said that the sugar milling machine must be the biggest kama ile ya Mumias? There are small jaggeries that can be used. They need to allow a farmer to harvest his own sugar cane. The way a maize farmer anakuwa na harvest mahindi yake, anaamua kama ataifanya mahindi, ama ataiuza ikiwa unga, ama ataifanya ikuwe animal feeds. You have to decide what you want to do with your sugar cane. Now, once they're allowed to do that, a farmer, they let them come with small, because if you look at China, you'll get a machine the size of this table that can be able to mill that sugar cane and probably turn it into sugar.
They're called cottage industry.
Let KEBS give them the standards.
Yeah.
So that every person can produce their own sugar. Hata kama una produce gunia 3 na unaenda unauza vile mtu anaendanga anauza vitu zake kwa barabara. But you can't have people being allowed to do what they want with their wheat, including turning their wheat into bread and cakes. and another one turning their
alcohol.
unga into anything. And even you turn your wheat into alcohol. But when you come and produce sugarcane, munaambua kuna kitu stupid inaitwa Sugar Act. Go and repeal this act. That's what will help the
The
people
act
of
was just
Western.
passed the other day.
Yeah, 2024. It was revised to make things very hard for you people.
It was just
And that's
passed the
why,
other
day.
that's the only thing that will save Western Kenya. That a farmer does what they want to do with their sugar.
You know, the Finnish president is in town. I don't know if anybody noticed, but
Who renew bilateral
yes,
engagements and
yes,
talks and
yes.
relations.
So, one of the things that the president said was, all abductees have been returned.
He ended. He
Yes.
said he ended
Ended.
abductions.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the abductors. You've told us about the abductees. This is the first time the head of state is admitting about abductions in this country in that candid way. But without it appearing to him that the people who abducted these young people committed crimes. If he instructed them to end abduction, he should also instruct them to present themselves for investigation and to be incarcerated. Those people should be rotting in jail. We cannot have a conversation of people have na by the tunangojea leo kuona kama kuna watoto watasema wamerudi kwao. We are really waiting to, and I think the media should have their cameras on homes where young people had disappeared to just see if one will appear. That's the only thing I can say. We first want to see. Unajua mnaweza ambua kuna watu wamereleasiwa lakini kuna family nasema zizi hatujaona wetu. You know when schools close you wait eagerly for your child kama ako boarding. Now it's like that situation. If they've been released, we want those homes. We want to go and join those homes in celebrations. In fact, I can't wait to go to a home where their child has been missing for a year. To join your family in prayers and celebration. But the abductors, we want us to know who they are, then we deal with them as a country.
This is the first time that the president is kind of admitting that, you know, abductions have been there.
Yeah.
And I feel that he's not feeling the pain of those families. He's not, you know, because the manner he spoke about it was just in passing. He's not feeling, you know, how a family can feel when their kin goes missing for a whole year, even for 3 days. It's something that you know, it affects a family in a different way. And to say that they have all been returned home is basically a lie.
Yeah.
It's a lie because we know families whose people went missing and they are not home.
He was
They are
trying
not
to
home.
he was trying to impress the Finnish guy.
You know, impress the visitor.
Yes.
But it doesn't agger well with us because there are families who are still people who their kin are still missing.
Yeah.
And so those are the people we want the president to and like Fanyamambo says, who are these people that were abducting Kenyans? Because abduction, like he says, he said it cannot happen during his reign. Then he must make sure that he takes care of those people who then you know, breaking his promise, because he said no abductions. Still abductions are happening. So who are those people that are doing abductions? What action have been taken against them?
We are all so hurt as a country. That's why you saw Kenyans crossing into Uganda to vote, because they are feeling they need to help Ugandans. I mean, the things that are happening to Besigye should not happen to any man his age. And in a platoon of 12 young men who are so strong just to handle him, and the guy he's so frail and weak. And I feel that when we are starting with abductors, we start with the guys who abducted Besigye as well.